The drama was a really stressful and dark movie, but I still couldn't help but find myself laughing. This is Popcorn Heist, where I love discussing and reviewing movies and TV and ranking things from worst to best. And today I am reviewing the drama with spoilers. So this is your spoiler warning if you have not seen the drama. But before I get into my thoughts, at Popcorn Heist, I choose a quote per video. And the quote of today's video is, "She always finds a way to turn my drama into a comedy," which is said by Robert Pattinson's character Charlie and speaks to his relationship with Zendaya. And honestly, to me, it really spoke to the nature of this movie, where it's really taking on a dramatic and dark topic, but turns it into a comedy and really makes you laugh. And throughout this movie, I really did find myself laughing at moments that I felt like I shouldn't be, just given how dark the subject was. And I feel like that was the intent of the movie, was to kind of make you laugh and feel a little bit awkward laughing when some of the topics were very, very dark. So the drama is about Zendaya's character Emma and Robert Pattinson's character Charlie and their lead up to their wedding, and the entire movie basically takes place in the week leading up to their wedding. As they're preparing for their wedding, they're with their two friends Mike and Rachel, and the characters all go around and say the worst thing that they've ever done. And it gets to Emma, and she says that she was planning a mass shooting but never went through with it when she was a teenager, which is kind of a bomb, and I was not expecting that coming into the movie. I really didn't have any spoilers coming into the movie, except that some of the topics were very, very dark. And I feel like the movie is less about Emma and what led her to thinking about doing that, and more about the characters in the present day reacting to that information and kind of judging Emma on her past from when she was a teenager. And the movie does a great job of making you put yourself in the character's shoes. And I feel like the movie does a good job of presenting you points and counterpoints of how you would react given that information. And honestly, I feel like the friends do a pretty terrible job of extending any understanding and empathy to Emma and really understanding the outside factors that might have led her to those thoughts and kind of understanding if she's ever come back from those thoughts. They immediately start making it about themselves and judging her and feeling like they need to separate themselves from her and almost continue the cycle of what she dealt with when she was a teenager, where she was completely isolated and no one was giving her any empathy. And they're just continuing that and really judging her for that in adulthood. Mind you, they all have terrible things that they've done. I think that's especially true for the character Rachel, who actually locked a disabled person in a closet and never told anyone where they were. So really put someone in danger. Meanwhile, Emma didn't actually do anything. And Rachel immediately makes the conversation about herself and how she knows and has a cousin who was a victim of a mass shooting. And of course, that's terrible that she has a cousin who was a victim of that and went through that, but she immediately puts that on Emma when Emma kind of needed people to hear her and understand her, which she never had when she was a teenager, which was really the whole problem. And I feel like Rachel was a really unlikable, purposefully unlikable character throughout the movie, who was really not a true friend to Emma at all. And I think that extends to Charlie as well, where she really needed a partner and someone to give her understanding, and she really never got that from Charlie. He does try to understand her perspective, but it's always from the lens of, can I accept this? Can we move forward from this? How is our relationship going to be after this? And it's never from the lens of, does Emma actually need help? Does she need empathy? Does she need me to just be there for her? And he crashes out to the point where he cheats on her and hurts her again and really embarrasses her at her own wedding and starts lies and gossip about her because he is dealing with his own emotions rather than giving her the support that she needs. And initially coming out of the movie, there were some angles that I wish that the movie focused on a little bit more. So for example, what was her relationship with her parents? I feel like they could have been easily painted as the villains, and in my mind, they were probably neglectful, given that she had access to a gun and the ability to really get to this point where she had no one to look to except these dark thoughts, and the angle of the fact that she really had redeemed herself already and had joined a group for gun control and was trying to prevent mass shootings. And I feel like they didn't really focus on that And coming out of the movie, I felt like that deserved a little bit more focus. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought that that was actually intentional from the filmmaker. And they wanted to kind of put you in the shoes of the characters who were judging her in the present day and really not extending her any grace or considering the outside factors that led her to this point. So I think that those are angles that I would take if I was in the situation, or at least I hope I would take if I was in the situation, and start considering the other factors and nuance to Emma's situation. But the movie purposefully focused on the reaction of her friends and the people closest to her who were not extending her any of the grace or considering those angles. And I thought an interesting wrinkle thrown into the movie and thrown into Emma's character was that they catch the DJ doing drugs on the street. And initially Emma is pro DJ and pro not firing the DJ and doesn't think it's a big deal. But in the end, she doesn't extend the DJ nuance and ends up firing the DJ and not considering the outside factors that led the DJ to that moment, the same way her friends aren't extending nuance to her. So it kind of puts her in the same boat as her friends. So I thought that that was an interesting nuance to throw in. But I think the movie does a very good job of posing these questions and really making you think heavily about them. This is a movie that you can discuss and think about for days and weeks to come, and really discuss with other people what their interpretation of the characters were, what they would do in that situation. And I just know that people are going to be having conversations about what's the worst thing you've ever done with their partners and friends for weeks to come after they've seen this movie. So it was very original, very much a combo starter, and I'm kind of surprised that this movie was able to be made and got so many big stars to agree to be in it, given some of the dark subjects that it takes on. And I did feel like the movie made light of some very dark topics, so I could see how that would turn some people off from the movie and turn some people against the movie. And I did find myself laughing at some really dark and awkward moments, and then you almost feel bad about laughing about those things afterwards. And there are some really stressful moments in this movie. I thought this was a really stressful movie, and I know that that's not for everyone, but it's very original, very funny, and does a good job of putting you in the shoes of these characters. And I feel like there really wouldn't be another way to take on these topics without having a little bit of comedy to kind of break up the really dark things. There are also some moments in the movie that are presented as alternate realities or potential futures, and the movie doesn't truly go there with a big bombastic ending. It kind of takes a more subtle, character-driven ending, which I think was the right way to go for the movie. However, I do feel that there were some moments that they presented a potential future that was going a different direction, with the visions of the potential mass shooting at the wedding. I thought watching the movie, and I've discussed with some other people who thought the same thing, that that was where the movie was going. And I almost felt like it was like a White Lotus situation where they were presenting the future and kind of getting you there. I actually thought it might have been Charlie who ended up committing that heinous act, and I thought that that's where the movie was building to. And again, the movie doesn't eventually go there, and I think that was the right choice. I just don't love that I was like expecting that throughout the movie, and that might not have been other people's experience. They might not have viewed that as a true potential future or where the movie was going, but I felt like it was a little bit of a fake out. So I'm glad the movie didn't go there, but I did feel a little bit faked out coming out of the movie. And I really liked the character-driven focus of this movie, and I thought Zendaya and Robert Pattinson did a really great job of selling their characters and adding nuance to their characters. And I thought that they had chemistry at the beginning and romantic chemistry as you're kind of getting to know their relationship. And then as it gets more complicated, really being able to sell that complex and nuanced and almost toxic side of their relationship. But I did have mixed feelings about the ending. I really don't know that these two characters should have ended up together. I really don't feel like Charlie gave Emma the nuance and empathy that she needed. I'm glad that they have this renewed relationship and this new start, and I do wish the best for them in the future, but I just don't know if I would trust Charlie after he crashed out like that. I guess they both have skeletons in their closet and they're both kind of accepting that, but I don't know. I just don't know if those characters are gonna do too well together. So I had mixed feelings about the ending. I'm glad it went character driven. I thought it was a beautiful scene, but do I really think these characters deserve each other? I'm not too sure. I feel like this is a movie that really sits with you. And initially coming out of the theater, I really didn't know how to feel about this movie because some of the topics were so dark, the characters were so complex, and the situations were so hard to envision yourself in at times, but the movie does a good job of putting you in those shoes. But all in all, I would give this movie a 3.5 out of 5 popcorn buckets. I thought it was super original and really a movie that makes you think about what you would do in certain situations and gives you some really difficult questions to ask yourself. It was very character driven, and the acting and the writing were really able to create these characters and these interpersonal relationships that were really complex. So I thought it was really successful at getting the conversations it wanted to started and really not handing you the message, so you really had to think about it for yourself and form your own opinion on what you would do in that situation and how you feel about each of the characters. If you had a chance to see the drama, comment your thoughts down below. And if you enjoyed this review, I really hope that you subscribe to the channel and like this video. It really helps the channel grow. And I hope that you join me for more movie and TV reviews and content.